हे गाइस, कैसे हो आप सभी। उम्मीद करता हूँ सभी लोग मस्त रहोगे, मजे में रहोगे। सो यार, अब आ रहे हैं 2025 के जो पॉडकास्ट, उसके बारे में बात करना चाहूंगा कि ये सारे जो पॉडकास्ट होंगे, मैं पर्टिकुलरली फोकस कर रहा हूँ कि इन डेप्थ जाए टेक के बारे में। अलॉन्ग विद जो गेस्ट रहेगा, गेस्ट के साथ बातें होगी, बट आई एम थिंकिंग टू गो मोर इन टू द डेप्थ ऑफ द टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स। लाइक कोई भी चीज़ हो, जैसे रिएक्ट हुआ, नोड जेएस हुआ, फ्रंट एंड डेवलपमेंट हुआ, बैक एंड डेवलपमेंट हुआ। तो यार, आज के जो पॉडकास्ट के हमारे गेस्ट थे, उनका नाम था तरुण सोनी। With having 3+ years of experience in the front end area, front end development area, he specializes in React and React Native applications. एंड हमने पूरे के पूरे पॉडकास्ट में हमने बात की ऑल अराउंड डेवलपमेंट की, कैसे डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट करना चाहिए, कैसे आपको अलग अलग फील्ड्स के बारे में जानना चाहिए। बिकॉज क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे बच्चों को या बहुत सारे अभी के डेवलपर्स को लगता है कि नो, देर आर ओनली सिलेक्टेड फील्ड्स की फ्रंट एंड डेवलपमेंट है, बैक एंड डेवलपमेंट है, फुल स्टैक है, एआई है, एमएल है। बट वो एक मिथ को हमने ब्रेक किया इस पॉडकास्ट के अंदर, जहाँ पे हमने और अलग अलग जितनी फील्ड्स हैं उनके बारे में बात किया। एंड तरुण भाई और मैं भी कम फ्रॉम प्लेसेस लाइक वसई विरार इन मुंबई, लाइक स्मॉल प्लेसेस इन मुंबई। एंड हमने हमारी जर्नी के बारे में बात किया कि यार कैसे वहाँ से ही केम टू बैंगलोर। एंड ही ऑल्सो स्पोक एट सर्टन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस पे ही हैज़ बीन अ स्पीकर। तो उनका क्या उस चीज़ पे एक्सपीरियंस था, एंड हाउ डिड ही स्टार्ट विद इट। सो ये पॉडकास्ट में हमने उसी सारी चीज़ों पे बात की है। एंड आई होप आपको ये पूरा पॉडकास्ट अच्छा लगेगा। एंड प्लीज ट्यून इन टू द पॉडकास्ट। एंड आपके कोई भी क्वेरीज रहेंगे, कुछ भी क्वेश्चंस रहेंगे, प्लीज, आपका ही कमेंट सेक्शन है, कमेंट सेक्शन में आप प्लीज डाल दीजिएगा। हम सारे क्वेश्चंस को, सारे आपके क्वेरीज को आंसर करेंगे। एंड आई होप आप ये पूरा का पूरा पॉडकास्ट देखो। तरुण भाई, कैसे हो आप?
All good, all good. How are you?
आई एम प्रीटी गुड। थैंक यू फॉर टेकिंग आउट योर टाइम ऑन अ
My
सैटरडे
pleasure.
मॉर्निंग।
My pleasure.
कैसे हो आप? हाउ इज योर लाइफ गोइंग राइट नाउ?
It's going great. I couldn't complain. But बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है. It's going really great right now. Hmm.
Great, great. To all the guys,
Hmm.
we actually met at React India,
Yes.
and वहाँ पे ही when I was talking with Tejas, who was the
Hmm.
MC for that day,
Hmm.
that day I met Tarun,
Hmm.
and he had also been speaker at React Brussels, I guess, right?
Sorry?
React Brussels or
It was
any
the
other
GeekConf.
GeekConf, yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
So I was like,
Hmm.
bro, let's talk, let's talk. And
Hmm.
then we met again at the TechX
Event
event.
in Bangalore.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and वहाँ पे भी ही टॉक्ड समथिंग अबाउट सर्वर ड्रिवन यूआई।
Hmm.
एंड वो आई गेस हमने ना हमारे जो डेव एक्सचेंज वाले वीडियो है वहाँ पे डाला था। एंड इट वाज लाइक प्रिटी
Hmm.
न्यू थिंग फॉर मी, बिकॉज आई
अच्छा.
वाज
Hmm.
लाइक बैक इन मुंबई कि हाँ भाई, हम अपने को तो रिएक्ट डेवलपमेंट आता है। बट वो देखा तो मैं
Hmm.
बोला नहीं यार, हमें तो कुछ नहीं आता। बट इट वाज ग्रेट
Hmm.
टॉक दैट यू गेव ओवर देयर। एंड आई वुड लाइक टू नो हाउ डिड योर जर्नी
Hmm.
स्टार्ट, कि
Sure,
कैसे
sure.
डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट किया। एंड
Hmm.
to all the guys, we both come from the same place,
Hmm. Yes.
so we kind of share the same kind of experience.
And met in Goa
Yeah,
and Bangalore.
yeah, same जगह पे थे बट कभी उधर
But
नहीं मिले।
but not in Mumbai.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Hmm.
please share your experience कि
Yeah, yeah,
कहाँ
sure,
से
sure.
start हुआ, how did your
Hmm.
development journey begin?
Hmm. So since I'm from Mumbai, so I started off from there itself. Um, the coding journey or the the love for tech journey started from school, like most of us, right? And I was pretty sure that I want to take uh, computers. I was not sure about the streams or something, but I knew I would be doing something with the computers, around the computers back then, right? तो उसके बाद देन आई गॉट टू नो कि इंजीनियरिंग होता है जस्ट लाइक अनदर अगेन जस्ट लाइक एनी अदर किड इन इंडिया. तो या आई डिड माय डिप्लोमा इंस्टेड ऑफ साइंस एंड कॉमर्स.
Okay, आप डिप्लोमा वाले बच्चे
यस.
हो।
फिर उसके बाद इंजीनियरिंग एंड देन आई गॉट माय लॉ फॉर फ्रंट एंड जावास्क्रिप्ट और रिएक्ट ये सब. फिर वही कॉलेज में वी वर डूइंग अराउंड द सेम थिंग्स. we were organizing hackathons, we were attending hackathons, और बस वही जर्नी की शुरुआत थी.
ओके,
Yes. Hmm.
बढ़िया है. लाइक फ्रॉम कमिंग फ्रॉम
Hmm.
देयर टू बैंगलोर, इट्स
Hmm.
लाइक अ बिग थिंग, क्योंकि हम
Yes.
ऐसी
Hmm.
मतलब वी डोंट कम फ्रॉम अ बिग प्लेस.
Hmm.
वी कम फ्रॉम प्लेस लाइक वसई विरार,
Yeah.
एंड वहां से
Yeah.
बैंगलोर ऐसी जगह में आना हमारे लिए भी ऐसा लगता है यार क्या है ये, जन्नत आ गए हम
Yes.
लोग.
Yes.
सो टॉकिंग,
टेक की जन्नत में आ गए
हाँ
कुछ.
टेक की जन्नत ये एक्चुअली है.
Hmm.
नॉट टू बी फ्रैंक,
Hmm.
यू टोल्ड अबाउट कि आपने कॉलेजेस में यू हैव हैकाथॉन्स.
Yes.
वो एक
Hmm.
क्वेश्चन रहेगा कि why does hackathon play a very important role
Hmm.
in any kind of journey? Like आप,
Hmm.
जैसे आप फ्रंट एंड के थे,
Hmm.
किसी को बैक एंड में जाना है, किसी
Hmm.
को लाइक रोल प्लेइंग में जाना है, टीम प्लेइंग में जाना है, तो हैकाथॉन्स, why do they play a very important role and why are they important?
Yes. So just like any other, I'll share my experience from tier two colleges, right? Maybe this applies for tier two, tier three colleges. Ki we are given a very theoretical idea of coding and theoretical idea of how things should be done, and we all know how fast the tech changes, and how fast the product changes and the approach changes as well, and it's pretty sure that the colleges can't keep up, right? So the colleges are still using the same old approach of practicals, of theories, or maybe we at those times we used to code on the paper as well,
हमें
right?
पूछा गया था,
Hmm.
जस्ट मतलब सॉरी टू ब्रेक,
Yeah.
बट वी हैड अ सब्जेक्ट कॉल्ड आईपी, इट्स लाइक इंटरनेट प्रोग्रामिंग बट
Uh-huh.
रिएक्ट पढ़ाते. तो आप मानोगे नहीं, हमको वो जो इंटरनल टेस्ट होता है ना 20
Hmm.
मार्क वाले, तो यू आर गिवन अ क्वेश्चन, राइट अ
Yeah, code.
क्वेरी इन Node.js टू
Hmm.
कनेक्ट नोड टू MongoDB. आई एम लाइक ये लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है यार. एंड उसमें भी ऐसा था कि अगर आपने सिंटैक्स
Hmm.
में पैरेंथेसिस के अंदर कर्ली ब्रैकेट्स नहीं डाले तो आधा मार्क कटेगा.
Hmm.
अरे भाई मतलब क्या गलत है यार.
किसी की हैंडराइटिंग खराब है तो फिर
हाँ,
तो
वो तो खत्म, फिर
हाँ,
इसकी मार्क्स चले जाएंगे.
बस वो क्वेश्चंस आज कर्सर पे डाल रहे हैं. हाँ. सो आज मतलब बैक ऑन दोस टाइम, विच इज नॉट क्वाइट लॉन्ग अगो, राइट? तभी पेपर पेन में कोड हो रहा है,
हम्म.
एक प्रैक्टिकल स्लॉट मिल रहा है, उसमें भी प्रैक्टिकल में ज़्यादा हो नहीं रहा है, राइट? एंड
हम्म.
एवरी वन इज गिवन अ रोड मैप and just thrown into that roadmap,
हम्म.
right? And the thing is that roadmap is ancient, बहुत पुराना है roadmap,
हम्म.
correct? So which means when the roadmap changes, we have to adapt as well,
हम्म.
correct? And that's the thing, कि we have to be up with the current situation, the current what the market needs, and balancing out with the basics, right?
हम्म.
I'm pretty sure the college has done the basics right, right? They are doing DSS properly, but still ancient. That's fine. There's no question in that. But the approach from zero to one, that's what hackathon really teaches,
ओके.
right? Uh, the biggest learnings of a developer is debugging, right?
हम्म.
And there's no debugging in pen and paper, correct?
करेक्ट.
So you learn the debugging by doing things in
हम्म.
hackathons, and you're actually shipping the product what what it's asked,
हम्म.
right? And hackathon also gives the broader perspective of team building. You get into the flow because since everyone else is doing, you want to be competitive and basically win that hackathon,
हम्म.
right? But if we see, the real winners are the products,
हम्म.
right? Even if let's say out of 10 participants, 9 have the product complete,
हम्म.
they are the 9 winners. We
करेक्ट.
have 9 versions of the same idea,
हम्म.
right? And 9 different perspective
हम्म.
of same idea. That's a complete win,
हम्म.
correct? And the prize is just for, you know, the
जस्ट फॉर द
first,
नेम से कि
just for
हाँ
the
चलो
namesake.
है.
But if you see the broader picture,
हम्म.
hackathon gave those 10 teams a broader perspective and a chance to go from 0 to 1, at
Hmm.
least how things are working, when things are not working, how to debug them.
Hmm.
So a hackathon really helps in these skills,
Okay.
right?
As a developer, I see कि the projects play a very important role.
Hmm.
Like not the projects that you make as a major project
Hmm.
because they are actually useless. क्योंकि
Yeah,
आपको बोलेंगे आप एक हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम बनाओ,
correct.
एक फूड मैनेजमेंट रेस्टोरेंट मैनेजमेंट बनाओ.
Yes. Hmm.
But I think the projects that actually matter are the projects that you make
Hmm.
because you are facing an issue.
Correct.
It's like I would say one of my project. It
Hmm.
was a project on Find My Notes. मतलब it was like
Hmm.
कि being in second year में जब एग्जाम्स आती थी तो
Hmm.
we would for a particular topic we would have to go through Google and search for different sources कि इसमें ये है इसमें
Hmm.
ये है इसमें ये है.
Hmm.
बट एट द एंड अगर पेपर में मार्क्स कम आते थे तो
Hmm.
टीचर वुड टेल ये बुक में ना इतना ही लिखा हुआ है.
अच्छा.
So
Hmm.
we would have to go through that particular book. So
Hmm.
we kind of made a project wherein for different departments and
Hmm.
for the different like
Hmm.
the years like first year से final year वालों के लिए
Hmm.
आपको बेस्ड ऑन योर ईयर एंड योर डिपार्टमेंट
Hmm.
आपको कौन सा सब्जेक्ट है. लेट्स से एक सब्जेक्ट है ऑटोमेटा थियरी.
Hmm.
तो उसके आपको बुक्स मिल जाएगी, उसकी ई बुक मिल जाएगी
Hmm.
एंड आप वहां से एक्सेस कर सकते हो. अगर
Hmm.
आपने सर्च में किया ऑटोमेटा थियरी सेम या एप्पल
Same
क्वेश्चन
XYZ.
पेपर
Hmm.
तो आपको उसका क्वेश्चन पेपर मिल जाएगा. तो इट
अच्छा.
वाज लाइक एन इशू दैट वी फेस
Hmm.
एंड उसी का हमने एक
The
सोल्यूशन
search,
लाया.
but with the context of
हाँ.
the notes.
तो वो
Very
चीज
good idea.
एक्चुअली हमने जब देखा पहले तो हमें लगा कि ऐसे ही बना रहे.
Hmm. Hmm.
बट हमें एक्चुअल उसका एडवांटेज तब पता चला कि जब कॉलेज में एग्जाम्स आती थी.
Hmm.
एज एन इंजीनियर आपको भी पता है कि आप
Hmm.
एक एक महीने पहले तो पढ़ोगे नहीं,
Exactly.
एग्जाम के एक दिन पहले ही पढ़ोगे.
Hmm.
तो हमारे एग्जाम के एक दिन पहले वी हैड अराउंड 1000 एक्टिव यूजर्स ऑन दैट प्लेटफॉर्म.
Uh,
वी आर लाइक ये
hmm.
चलो कुछ तो काम आ गया.
Huh.
सो आई थिंक दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स
Hmm.
दैट एक्चुअली मैटर
Exactly.
ड्यूरिंग योर इंजीनियरिंग एंड ऑल्सो वाइल गेटिंग योर जॉब. कि आप
Yes.
क्लोन बना के दिखाओगे तो बोलेगे यार ठीक है हम भी वही कर रहे हैं तुम भी
Wait.
वही कर रहे
It's the same idea that has been solved multiple
हो.
times.
या.
और again वही point था कि
हाँ.
it's the ancient topics. But I feel this is where the college should pitch in and give out of the box ideas.
हम्म.
So I guess बाकी कॉलेज में भी ऐसे ही होता था कि uh, the students are given the liberty to search for the idea as well,
हम्म.
right? But if you see a third year student or fourth year student, right, who has so much in plate, right,
हम्म.
that they have college and many other things, right? This is just the one phase of their life and one part of their life. They might have other things as well. So it's a pressure to plant an idea into their minds,
हम्म.
right? You saw the problem and then solve the approach.
हम्म.
But if you see, they are forced to give an approach, give
हाँ.
a solution
हम्म.
to an XYZ problem, right?
हम्म. जो प्रॉब्लम एक्चुअली
Which is,
जिसकी
yeah, which is what
नॉट
colleges
रिक्वायर्ड.
should fill,
हम्म.
right? They should give it maybe like this is the problem that we're facing, right? We have taught you the syntaxes, we have taught you the languages. How about we solve the problem, right?
हम्म.
And not just force them to give a solution.
हम्म.
I believe that the mentorship and the ideas from the new minds together will make some great projects.
हम्म. Any key projects that you had made during your college?
Actually, uh, so there was one hackathon in Mumbai. It was a Web3 hackathon, and we participated in that. And they had a topic around solving employee issues, right?
Okay.
Basically, the corporate issues. So we solved the issue for the file management, and the it was a file sharing permission system, but on Web3, right?
Okay.
So that let's say you have a file which you want to share, you are the owner of the file, like the proper owner,
हम्म.
right? And you want to share it with me. So it's kind of a trust thing. Let's say you share a file with me,
हम्म.
right? I can do anything that I want. Maybe I edit it and
करेक्ट. हाँ.
do it. Even though that will be unethically wrong,
हम्म.
I would have the power to do it,
करेक्ट.
right? Let's say if this is on a blockchain, uh, the file is hashed, and the same file has been shared. And let's say if I want to show it to someone, uh, the same hash is shared. Correct.
Hmm.
So this was the basic idea of that hackathon project. Yeah, by the way, we stood second in that hackathon.
Congratulations.
It was just Mumbai based. We used the same idea, but for different entities.
Okay.
Right. The idea was absolutely the same. The tech stack was same. Right. The entities were different. Instead of employee and employer, it was patient and doctor.
Okay.
Right. We just extended the same idea.
Hmm.
When we solved the same idea, right, the same problem of the employer and employee, we saw that this can be extended and this can be uh, solved at a broader level.
Hmm.
That's what I said right now. Ki I want to share it to someone else.
Hmm.
Uh, you are the file owner. I am the file accessor. What if there's a third entity,
Hmm.
which is very common in a normal scenario? So in the medical scenario, let's say you are the patient and you have very sensitive info, right,
Hmm.
that you don't want to share. Obviously, uh, let's say you have a, let's do it very basic. You have an X-ray document uh, of something that you don't want to share
Hmm.
for XYZ reason. It's completely your decision and rightfully so, right? And you want to share it with multiple people. Maybe the
Hmm.
doctor. Let's say I'm a doctor. Let's say someone, doctor two, or a lab reporter, right? So the sharing permission is not one to one.
Hmm.
It's one to many and many to many. Correct.
Hmm.
Let's say the generator of the file is not you.
Hmm.
It's the lab reporter. He's generating, but the file is yours, which
Hmm.
means there's an added level of complexity.
Hmm.
You are the owner, but the generator is someone else, right? So yeah, we extended. We saw that this project can be extended. So this is how we
Okay.
expanded it, right?
Okay.
And yeah, this was some of the. I'm still proud of that project. You can see it's in my GitHub, and we extended it with multiple entities, and you got to know that's the compliance for storing the electronic health records, EHR, right? There's a compliance by the government that this is how it should be stored. The compliance is HIPAA compliance, HIPAA,
Okay.
HIPAA or HIPAA, something. So that's when we got to learn that ऐसा भी कुछ होता है. There's a compliance to store things,
Okay.
right? And that's when we know why things are like they are,
Hmm.
right? कि ये अगर ऐसे है तो क्यों ऐसे, किसने
Hmm.
एनफोर्स किया है, किसने उसको रेस्ट्रिक्शन लगाया,
Hmm.
करेक्ट? मे बी गवर्नमेंट है, मे बी कोई XYZ एंटिटी है. सो वी गॉट अ ब्रॉडर नॉन टेक रीजन फॉर दैट एज वेल. So
Okay.
that's where the projects help in nurturing this.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So are there like talking about 2025?
Hmm.
Well, in the past years,
Hmm.
there has been a lot of change in the tech stack that people use.
Hmm.
Like पहले जैसे PHP होता था,
Hmm.
then came जैसे React का एक वेव आ गया था
Hmm.
पूरा.
Hmm.
फिर अभी Next.js का वेव आया एंड
Hmm.
धीरे धीरे people are more into going into TypeScript and
Hmm.
मैंने जैसे देखा था आई गेस एक्सपो करके भी
Hmm.
एक
Hmm.
इलेक्ट्रॉन जेएस है
Hmm.
वो यूज करते हैं. सो एज अ डेवलपर
Hmm.
व्हाट would you recommend or what would you choose as your tech stack in
Hmm.
2025?
Yes, this is I would use, but with an asterisk. I would not recommend to not everyone. Let's say
Hmm.
someone is starting very early on with JavaScript.
Hmm.
I won't suggest him or her to go directly into TypeScript. Right?
Hmm.
They have to have the JavaScript clear. They have to know what the issues of JavaScript are to know why TypeScript is used. Right? Given that disclaimer, uh, for now, I will personally use in front end Next.js on the way. There's one more tech stack, one stack that's coming. This is
Okay.
the same people by Tanstack Query.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm still eyeing that, but right now all the production apps would be an R on Next.js.
Okay.
Um, for mobile, I'm pretty much bullish on Expo and React Native. So Expo is like the wrapper of React Native. So very much bullish on that. It gives out both Android, iOS. It
Okay.
also gives out desktop apps.
Hmm.
It also gives out the websites,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So the code reusability is really good.
Hmm.
And yeah, on the back end there's a choice. There's a it depends keyword on many of the stuff. If you want to do things very very quickly, then Node.js, Nest.js,
Hmm.
and Express, these are the way. But let's say if you want to build some robust system, right? And let's say if there's an AI, we have to use Python,
Python. Hmm.
correct? And yeah, let's say we have some kind of problem to be solved with a very specific tech stack, and that tech stack is only reliable on, let's say, Java,
Hmm.
then Java Spring Boot is the only option,
Okay.
right? So, but if you see, it depends thing on most of the stuff,
Okay.
right? Um, and it's the focus on the problem and the problem you're solving,
Hmm.
and getting out the most performance to market ratio. Let's say
Hmm.
you want it to be most performant, that's the priority, then we should pick that. Let's
Hmm.
say if you want to go to the market as soon as possible, then
Hmm.
we have to pick a different tech stack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are there any key trends that you think
Mhm.
will be emerging in the next few years, like after AI?
Hmm. So right now, agentic AI will be the next trend,
Okay.
where AI will be niched down into the buckets. There will be different agent for different things. We've already seen the trend coming. Uh, there's a different agent for handling the code. There's a different agent for handling
Hmm.
something else. There's notebook LLM just dedicated to those stuff, right? Yeah, there'll be agentic AI. That will be a trend, and mm, the blockchain and Web3 trend will be the same,
Okay.
if not more. And yeah, uh, and I believe the front end technologies will be more robust.
Okay.
We see there's Next.js uh, being very, very robust right now, very, very reliable. And most of the companies are moving to React and Next.js. And yeah, this is what I think will be in the next, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years.
Okay. Like within the increase in
Mm-hmm.
AI, or increase in the trend of AI, I've seen that uh, it has been changed how developers approach a problem.
Hmm.
पहले अगर होता था तो what we used to do, copy it,
Hmm.
search on Google,
Hmm.
go over Stack Overflow,
Correct.
and see
Hmm.
where we get a solution.
Hmm.
Now what people do is copy chat
ChatGPT.
gpt.openai.com, paste
Yes.
it.
Hmm.
So how do you think AI is changing the way developers approach a problem,
Hmm.
and how do they solve it?
Um, so for developers, it comes down to the same thing that if any tool can help their problem precisely, right, and save them the lowest of the efforts. For example, let's say the cursor completion, right? It helped, and why cursor one? Uh, Even more so than VS Code because of the code completion not on the same level but on the whole file, right? If you change one variable in a place, the cursor has the context to change it on the other part as well. This was not in the case of the earlier Copilot ones, right?
Okay.
So for developers, it is anything that uh, corrects helps with them with the development that will win, obviously, right?
Hmm.
And also there will be different types of tools for different types of issues. Let's say there's bold.new,
Hmm.
which creates a whole full stack application with just a prompt, right?
Hmm.
Earlier there were prompt to Figma design,
Hmm.
but the issue was the integration, right?
Hmm.
Then chat cursor composer came, which also used to suggest the npm install packages command,
Hmm.
right? Then bold.new came in. Bold.new lets you set up the whole supervised server with just one prompt, right?
Okay.
So it's the level of issues that AI will be solving, and as a developer, you won't be using all of that, obviously,
Hmm.
right? In your day-to-day task,
Correct.
obviously, you are not booting up a new application every single day,
Hmm.
right? So although those tools are good, but it is solving a very specific problem.
Now, if we talk about this
Hmm.
particular field, IT field, we see that we
Hmm.
do have long hours. Like
Hmm.
we have been like 5 months in Bangalore, and
Hmm.
we see like proper developers, like they have long hours, and you
Hmm.
have to constantly be on the screen, and you have to
Hmm.
constantly be updated.
Hmm.
Like if let's say
Hmm.
there comes a new update of React,
Hmm.
and that solves a particular problem at your company. Like you are
Hmm.
building a product and you are facing a problem. Let's
Hmm.
say it comes with the performance, and that
Hmm.
particular update removes that issue.
Yeah.
So you have to be constantly updated,
Yes.
and that in turn causes burnouts. Burnouts
Correct.
in terms of like you don't get proper
Hmm.
sleep.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, you are overwhelmed.
Hmm.
So how do they get out of this, or how
Hmm.
do they manage it? Because you
Hmm.
can't get out of this, you need to
Yes.
manage it. So
Correct.
how can a developer manage that thing?
Yeah. So the answer for this for every developer will be very different. I would speak for myself what I do to keep up with the trends, and so when we look at, let's say, a new tech or a new solution, we come from two approaches. One, with the context of what we already know. Two, with the context of knowing what it solves, right?
Okay.
Let's say it solves a problem that I know, right? That I have faced already, that I am aware already. Then I will look at that article in a way that okay, it will solve this problem. There, I won't see the solution exactly, the code
Okay.
exactly. I would see how the problem is, how it's solved. Okay, ऐसा ऐसा था, ठीक है. Now let's say if you talk, you give the example of the React performance
Hmm.
update, right? Uh, Firstly, it should be active uh, on the communities. Be active in the communities. Be active in Twitter. There are forums. There are blogs coming out almost every day,
Hmm.
right? There's new updates, and yeah, just see the change log of the things that you are using and loving on a daily basis. Um, let's say I obviously keep a track of what's new in React, right? And obviously there will be in the 20 changes,
Hmm.
not all will be relevant to me, right?
Correct.
I
Yeah.
might have not faced that problem entirely.
Hmm.
That solution or the fix or that bullet point might not even relatable to me, but I put an effort to at least read all of
Hmm.
them, right? So yeah, uh, having to see the change logs,
Hmm.
um, the React updates are now equivalent to the new iPhone updates, right? Um, we even we saw it in React India.
Yeah.
The Meta update, the
Yeah.
Meta uh, had a new release for React,
Hmm.
and it was React compiler. And I believe for almost 15 minutes we spoke about the same thing.
Hmm. It was,
Uh,
I guess, three speakers spoke about that thing only.
yeah.
We are getting
Mhm.
revision of that React compiler
Yeah,
again and
and
again.
15 minutes just for the launching of that new
Yeah.
React compiler. What is it? What it solves, right?
Hmm.
Because it's a big thing,
Hmm.
right? So getting to know why it is a big thing, right? And as we keep learning things and as we keep knowing, oh yeah, this was a thing that happened. This was a big update that happened,
Hmm.
right? And just follow along with the journey. Just keep look at the tools. Oh yeah, this is a tool. For example, let's say you mentioned there's an expo, right?
Hmm.
Um, just knowing that this tool exists
Hmm.
for a non-React Native developer is a
Hmm.
really big win, right? Because you know when you will face a problem for solving mobile
Hmm.
application, you will know that there's thing called expo. You
Hmm.
know the right things to Google, and
Hmm.
that's all you want.
Okay. So, talking about some skills,
Mhm.
like back in college, we learn a lot of technical skills, okay?
Mhm.
But there are some skills that
Mhm.
irrespective of any specialization, whether you are from an IT branch,
Mhm.
whether you are from a computers branch or AI branch,
Mhm.
what are the skills that you should be having, or the specifically the developer should be having,
Mhm.
irrespective of any specialization they are
Mhm. Irrespective of any specialization, I would say is recognizing the patterns,
in? Okay.
not just the bookish patterns, the overall patterns, right? You even if let's say you know just a uh, Node.js application,
Hmm.
right? And assume that you don't know any JavaScript, any Java and Spring Boot, right?
Hmm.
Now, even if I give you the code for Java, uh, a good developer will know what it does
Hmm.
because many of the patterns are same.
Hmm.
The API routes, how uh, will it be serving, how things will be managed. Is there a state management? Because the state management is very generic term and applies to almost every programming language, right?
Hmm.
So having this recognition of patterns, it's just a change of syntax, it's just a change of approach. The pattern is same,
Hmm.
right? Having to recognize this pattern will be really crucial. And second would be to stick to the basics. The basics should be really, really good.
Hmm.
And
Basics in terms of programming language or the computer fundamentals?
the computer fundamentals as well as the programming languages.
Okay.
Uh, let's say uh, I'm just giving a code to random person, right? Uh, we as humans has have created the languages to be understood by other humans, right? Even if they're not understanding public static void main, they would understand if statements, right?
Hmm.
Which is inherently the same.
Hmm.
So the programming languages does not even matter in this case. It's like what's registering in the brain
Hmm.
and just a guess of what it might do,
Hmm.
right? If something, then this, right? That's what uh, is the basic thing of
Okay.
whether it's uh, language barrier. I mean, there's no language barrier in this, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, CS fundamentals obviously, and next would be very important is debugging skill,
Hmm.
which is combined with the when I say the whole recognition of pattern and the flow,
Hmm.
because the complex systems are made really, really complex. Like there are tens and tens of services,
Hmm.
maybe even hundreds. How all of them are connected, right?
Hmm.
There's almost every there's almost new tool. There are old tools that are still used,
Hmm.
and how everything is connected.
Hmm.
Uh, it comes with experience, right?
Hmm.
Because so many large enterprise systems have so many legacy approaches, right? But if it works, it works.
Hmm.
So having to know the full end-to-end approach. Why is it basically answering the question? Why is it the way is it, right? And combining this with debugging, correct? And yeah, it comes down to solving the problem because at the end of the day, you are given a problem,
Hmm.
you're solving it.
Correct.
So debugging skills helps irrespective of the tech stack, irrespective of um, maybe even if not in the context of computer programming as well,
Hmm.
maybe any engineering problem,
Hmm.
right? Having that debugging thing to know where's the problem,
Hmm.
to know how can it be solved.
Hmm.
That's it.
I think that debugging is a core skill. Like as a
Yes.
developer, also,
Hmm.
rather than
Hmm.
developing, your most of the time goes into debugging phase.
Exactly.
Like if you add something, you get an
Yeah.
error, and when
Yes.
you debug, you are like, अगर
Hmm.
यार यहाँ इतना ही तो चेंज किया है, ये पीछे क्यों
Yes.
बैकएंड फट रहा है?
Exactly.
So it's like वो
Hmm.
समझने में ही you get a lot of time to understand how
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
thing works, and I
Yes.
guess that comes with practice and experiences as
Yes.
well. One question that I would like to ask is,
Hmm.
पीपल टेल लाइक कॉलेज में भी बोलते हैं तुम ये इसका सर्टिफिकेशन करो,
Hmm.
ये जॉब मार्केट में
Hmm.
उसका कुछ वैल्यू है या इट्स ओनली द स्किल्स दैट मैटर?
Um, so इसका आंसर थोड़ा there's a change in answer. Few certificates do matter in few areas.
Okay.
For example, in DevOps context, there are few certification like Amazon, the Azure certification, which has really high value because of the complexity and the complexities it brings.
Hmm.
Because it's so hard, it's so challenging that the certification has a value.
Hmm.
Because not everyone has it. But on the contrary, there might be XYZ certificate, which is very easy to do, and many people has it. And like HTML certificate is not something that everyone would,
Hmm.
value, because of the same fact how valuable that certificate is, right? And let's say uh, for data analyst as well, if they have Python certificate, that's okay, right?
Hmm.
But if they have, let's say, common, sorry, not so common certificate, right? Maybe some really complex exam or something. Yeah, that does add to the value or the credibility. But at the end of the day, it's just a addition of a factor. The
Hmm.
base still remains the skills, right? You
Okay.
can bring 100 certificates with zero value. The output will always be zero,
Hmm.
right? So it's
Okay.
just a factor, but not the base.
So now talking about my favorite part,
Mhm.
like I have also been started
Hmm.
going into talking at meetups.
Hmm.
So this is what I personally want to ask you.
Hmm.
You have been speaking at conferences,
Hmm.
you have been speaking at the meetups.
Hmm.
So how is your experience
Hmm.
changed, and how is your journey
Hmm.
in particularly in, like building community or giving
Hmm.
back to
Hmm.
the community?
Yeah. So obviously this does not came up from the day one, right? There wasn't an intention to give back to the community from day one. It was like uh, replying to messages, solving someone's problem. It was as simple as replying to a WhatsApp community group
Hmm.
that if they want help, I can help it. Just out of, it's fine, I've done this. Because at some point I was on the other side as well,
Hmm.
right? There are Discord communities which I used to post questions on,
Hmm.
and there were obviously Stack Overflow is the biggest example, correct? So even in my free time, I used to go to Stack Overflow and answer, filter React Native, and answer what I feel like.
Hmm.
Uh, because I was on the other side, right? To search OpenStack Overflow and get the answer. So it was not something that we did out of, an aim that we should be doing this or something. It's just like, yeah, let's do this. It's fun, right?
Hmm.
Like most of the things.
Hmm.
That's how we started, and I guess most of people started doing community stuff, right? Building
Hmm.
communities. Obviously, Coding Anda is one of them. Talking about speaking, even there, uh, I was like, yeah, it's a topic. Let's go dig deep into it. Let's create some presentations and speak on the
Hmm.
topic. I started off in Geeky Ants and speaking in their um, town halls and the meetups in Bangalore, and then I expanded to various different. I applied um at many places and also got a chance to talk the topic in Berlin, and it feels good that let's say I have a learning of so many months,
Hmm.
and I can compile it down to a few minutes and explain it to someone with no context,
Hmm.
right? And it feels good that this type of content is in uh, is live,
Hmm.
at least is on the internet,
Hmm.
right? So that whenever someone ever needs it or just came across it, they can just have a look, even
Correct.
if it doesn't solve their problem completely. It gives a additional perspective,
Hmm.
which again is really important. Let's say if you have four or five perspective, it adds onto it, and who knows, they might create a completely new solution,
Hmm.
right? So yeah.
So that thing I
Hmm.
had seen that
Hmm.
initially I did not attend any kind of a conference. I
Hmm.
was like, क्यों जाना है? Time waste होगा.
Hmm.
But I was wrong. I
Hmm.
realized that when I was in my final year, I
Hmm.
attended my first ever tech meetup, जो
Hmm.
कि postman का था मुंबई में, and
अच्छा.
it was in one of the big colleges.
Hmm.
तो बाद में लगा यार नहीं यार
Hmm.
इसमें बहुत कुछ है बिकॉज
Hmm.
वी कमिंग फ्रॉम विरार
Hmm.
हमको लगता था यार हमको तो सब आता है हमारे
Hmm.
ऐसा कोडर कोई नहीं है वो इवेंट
Uh,
में जाके पता चला भाई हमारे ऐसा
uh,
बुद्धू कोडर कोई नहीं है
uh,
बिकॉज देयर पीपल यूज्ड टू टॉक अबाउट काफका एंड वी आर लाइक क्या है ये
yeah.
हमको पता ही नहीं था
Again,
इलास्टिक
new
सर्च
perspective.
काफका हाँ
Hmm.
वो हुआ फिर मैंने वेंट टू रिएक्ट इंडिया
Hmm.
मुझे तभी वैसा लगता नहीं रिएक्ट तो मुझे सब पता है
Hmm.
तब जाके देखा आपसे मिला
Hmm.
तेजस से मिला
Hmm.
केंसी डॉट से मिला
Hmm.
मुझे कुछ नहीं आता
Uh,
क्योंकि you get a very
hmm.
different perspective of
Hmm.
very different developers across
Yeah,
the world
exactly.
and
Hmm.
you kind of learn from their experience कि
Hmm.
उन्होंने कैसे किया कहाँ
Yeah.
कौन सी कंपनी में क्या चीजें चल रही है how are
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
implementing that so I
Correct.
think that is one of the core things
Hmm.
for attending
Yes.
conferences and if you are confident enough कि चलो मैं
Hmm.
बोल सकता हूँ I can tell तो आप बात भी कर सकते हो उस चीज पे
Yes.
अगर किसी को स्टार्ट करना है if anyone wants to start with
Hmm.
like speaking conferences
Hmm.
how can they start
Yeah, first of all, uh, have the step zero ready, that how are things happening, right? How are people speaking it? Like what kind of topics are they speaking? So this is a prerequisite, that see what's happening
hmm
uh, around. Uh, Attend meetups and have a note that what people are speaking, how people are speaking, and just take a look back at your experience and see what kind of problem you have solved. Answer the question, this is something I've done extraordinary, right?
hmm
And this might help someone, right? And even if, let's say, there are content on similar things, that should not discourage anyone to not speak about it, right? It's your personal experience. You went, you solved a problem, and if you can compile it down to, just 10 minutes and show it to people, it's good enough to speak about it.
hmm
Next step is to take this presentation and present it out to a few set of people, maybe to your peers, maybe to your local meetups,
hmm
and just do it for the very first time. Don't think about the perfection. Don't think about the slides. Don't think about whether people will judge me or not regarding my speaking skills, because no one is perfect, right?
hmm
Um, it's the very fact that if you look at your old videos, it will be bad, right? So yeah, the step is to just go out there and speak, and that's where you will know that this is um, what's happening. For
hmm
example, this was in Geekends. We used to shoot a, discussion around some topics, and similar to podcast and stuff. So we had a rotating chairs, like the normal office chairs,
hmm
and we used to sit on those and talk about it. And when I saw my recording, it's still on YouTube. Uh, I used to rotate a lot on on the chair, right? I'm doing left, right constantly. That was
hmm
I was doing out of my subconscious, right? I
hmm
was just rotating the chair left, right, and in the whole video, all out of the four of us, three were sitting still. I was just doing left, right. So these are the things that
hmm
you know you improve yourselves, correct?
hmm
And you will naturally grow upwards and onwards from there.
hmm
And yeah, you will be at a milestone that even your old self would not have thought, and it's just uh, growing and growing from there.
hmm
Mm.
The last question is like, is there any piece of advice you would like to give to all the developers or all the students that are in their engineering and starting out their career?
Yeah. One thing is, not be defined to one single path. if someone has said that this is what you should do, don't let that be as a guide,
Hmm.
because I've seen the norm that this is how you should do. You can only go front end developer or back end developer. But right now there are a plethora of opportunities.
Hmm.
I've seen people, they do not even know what DevOps is. The DevOps is a completely different dedicated role,
Hmm.
right? And that's what the thing is. We are wired down to very narrow paths.
Hmm.
जैसे someone will plant the idea, you just have front end and back end, फिर उसके
Hmm.
बाद तुम full stack करोगे, right?
Hmm.
There's just इतना और इतना यही कर सकते हैं, right? So don't let that restrict you, right?
Hmm.
And don't fear. For example, I'll take my example, right? Earlier, very very in early stage, since I loved front end, I started off front end. Back end was a bit scary, right? Doing back end was it's like, what if I drop the database? What if I uh, just mess up the pipeline, right?
Hmm.
That restricted me to, that you are a front end developer. That was subconscious. You're a front
Hmm.
end developer, you will break the pipeline, right? Or you can't code backend and stuff, right? So it's a restrictive thing we create ourselves.
Hmm.
And similar things happen in different applications of life. Let's say someone tells you that this is the farthest you can go,
Hmm.
right? If you are doing this, this is the outcome that it will have, right? Someone plants the idea in their mind,
Hmm.
right? Even if, let's say, in the job as well, someone would say this is the max you'll be getting, this is
Hmm.
the max what will happen, right? Many people do it, trust me. The world is cruel in different ways. So people will try to restrict you, uh, and plant the ideas and plant the barriers in the mind that this is what it is. They might not have an explanation. The
Hmm.
final answer would be it is what it is. But that's the thing, break from the barriers. If you think that you're liking something, if you think that this is something for me, you will love doing it, go on, chase it.
Hmm.
And yeah, don't be restricted to just one front end developer,
Hmm.
XYZ developer. I've seen, for a in last few years I used to call myself a React developer, right? But over the years I've learned that we should not be restricting ourselves to one single technology, right? uh, at the end we are all solving a problem.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's it.
I have also seen like back in when I was in the other side, as you said,
Mhm.
you are at the other side. In college, I was used to think like there is front end,
Mhm.
back end, full stack,
Mhm.
and there is something called let's say data analysis.
Mhm.
But when I came to Bangalore, I'm like, bro, ये तो हमें
Mhm.
इतनी ही चीज पता है.
Mhm.
IT में there are a lot of things. Like
Exactly.
there is some system engineer, there is DB
Mhm.
administrator,
Mm,
and there are
yes.
some things जो मतलब जो आप पहली बार सुनोगे कि
Mhm.
ये काम भी होता है.
Exactly.
So that is one thing that I really agree.
Mhm.
He don't restrict and like explore different
Mhm.
domains and different things, and then जहाँ पे
Yeah.
आपका interest पड़ रहा है
What's
कि
the
हाँ
worst will happen? You might not like
हाँ
it. You know what to not do,
hmm
which is also a very good virtue to, this is
hmm
not what I want to do.
एटलीस्ट you'll understand कि मतलब
Hmm.
बेसिक वर्किंग तो पता चल जाएगा.
Exactly.
आप ऐसा तो नहीं करोगे कि जावा में
Hmm.
चलो आप हेलो वर्ल्ड लिख रहे हो,
Hmm.
बट हेलो वर्ल्ड के लिए जितनी 5 10 15 लाइन जाती है
Hmm.
वो हर एक लाइन क्या करती है उतना तो समझेगा आपको,
Exactly.
ऑब्जेक्ट
Correct.
ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग एंड स्टफ.
Correct.
So, thank you, Tarun Bhai,
Thank you.
for hopping. It was great talking to you,
Hmm.
and hope to see you in
Sure. Sure.
another videos in the
Hmm.
future. And I'll ping down Tarun Bhai's LinkedIn
Sure.
profile
Sure.
and Twitter profile. जाके
Sure.
परेशान करो,
Hmm.
वो तुरंत रिप्लाई करते हैं. कुछ भी queries रहेगी, please feel free to answer.
Hmm.
Answer नहीं, ask him.
Hmm.
He'll be open to answer you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's great having you.
Thank you.